lost our bearing now for alignment, so we lost our alignment part. Pretty close. Okay, now, originally we needed 1.25 inches between the case house, so now we got 1 inch. So we'll be close to what we need. Now, this here goes on here. Instead of looking at my back all the time, move this over here so you can see better. So we're going to put the cylinder right on here. See what else we're going to mock up to get what we want for our look. Okay, now I need a piece of wood. About that big right there. Very even, but it's close. There's another one. There you go. So why is this way off? It moved. Down quite a bit. There we go. Mocked up like this before. It's a lot more accurate. I didn't think about doing it this way. There's a way more accurate way of doing stuff than we did before. I think you're fitting better too. Close. So look a little more. That side's pretty good. For some reason that side's good out of the box. I don't know why. Okay. Obviously things aren't quite flat. That looks pretty good though. That's our best mock-up yet. Now everything's actually close to where it belongs. No, case moved on me. She moved. Not too bad though. Not that direction. So now everything's centered because it wasn't centered before. We're not offset anymore. because we have the original case. We have the case down there to look at. The center. Ah, damn camera. So this case is on center. Before we weren't on center. We are on center now. So before I had the decks way over here to clear the case, but see the case isn't going to be here. It's going to be way the hell up here. Now this case here is still wanting to be not where it belongs. Doesn't make sense. Why is that case not lining up? It has to be square. It doesn't look square, but it has to be square. There's no way it couldn't be square. Because it's hitting against the case here evenly, and it's obviously inside of this case down here. So it ain't going to go anywhere. We're on our crank center line right here, so that's where it belongs. So this is actually a real, almost 100% mock-up, because there's no room for error. And now look at all the difference between that other video. We had all these errors and everything in there. And this here, yeah, it's pretty flat. This one over here comes off the other side. See, that one's pretty flat too. You can still see there's a little bit of difference here in between the two because of these aren't, they should be level with each other, so obviously they're not. So we got a slight amount of air, but not much. It's pretty damn close. So now you can really see our alignment issues with our lifters now. See, now this case looks horrible. Before it looked good. Now look at it, we're not even close. This case is horrible fitment wise. That just destroyed my alignment of everything. Just flat killed it. Because before we were all set out quite a bit, everything lined up pretty close, but not anymore. We are garbage. Before this was going to work really good, now it's just not even close. Like I said, we're on center here. Now I know the crank is not quite straight in the case because it doesn't fit. This damn thing is in the way. So I'm not exactly sure where this case is at, kind of floating around, but it ain't very far off. It's just a tilt this way. It's only air, but you can see it's not very far off. Looks like it's a little high in the back. Where'd my scale go? I keep losing my damn scale. Ugh. There it is. Very important tool. Okay, where's the... I'll get that in here. So the flywheel's above the gasket surface there. And for here it's the other way down. So it's really low on this corner. So this is all going to shift forward a little bit. So everything's back quite a bit right now. Which I don't think is really hurting us per se all that much, but it's going to be a little bit. Now, one problem we got is our center lines here. See, we're definitely going to have to cut into here because we're not, this case is lower. Now that case needs to come up more. And you can see that right here because before we had this where it was more level here, like that. So this needs to come up this way, at least another 1/8 of an inch. It wasn't quite flush, but it was close. So I'll bring it up 1/8 to 3/16 bare minimum. Before, like I said, we were looking at 1 1/4, and right now we're 1 inch because we got 1 inch spacers in here, obviously. So if we made this up to 1 1/4 all the way around, it would probably mock up even a little bit better than it is now. But the problem right now is that crank is nowhere near being square. But that's not going to change the fact that the push rod angles are now way the hell off. And I'm assuming the cylinders are, well, they're flat because we're coming off this surface here, so we know they're square. So the rotation now is pretty even. So this is not looking good. I thought this was going to be a good case, and it's just way over here now. So these are wanting to be over here. And look how far off it is. Way off. Like I said, that would still work, but it's, you know, the push rods don't have to be perpendicular. You have to cut the recess in here for the angle shift. You know, I don't know how many degrees off. That's 10 degree off, whatever. Boom, goes right to it. So it can be made to work easily. But out of the box, it doesn't fit at all. So before it was fitting a lot better, I thought. All right, so there you go. It's not quite what I thought it was before. Now this cylinder here, I can't go down because it's hitting right in here. So I can't, they have to be eyebrowed, or just to bring it down where it belongs. Now we were at 6-inch offset before. What number are we at now? Let's see, 6-inch, 6 1/4, 6 1/4. So yeah, we're not that far off. I didn't want to cut the cylinders at all, but it's, when everything's back on center, we're going to have to put a pretty good cut on them things. It's going to need a pie cut. It's going to need something like that, but not that deep. You don't have to be about that deep. But it's going to have to get cut. And that means the piston will have to get cut too. I definitely didn't want to cut the piston. So if I put a longer rod in and move the cylinder up higher, then we eliminate that problem. So if all of this just slides a little bit more out, those problems kind of go away a little bit, and we don't have that problem anymore. So we still don't know our rod length, stroke, or any of that stuff yet, so that this is all a flexible number right now. So if I bring that out a little bit further, now how the hell did I get 6-inch? There ain't no damn way that was 6-inch. No, that's a bunch of crap. Because the case is 6-inch underneath. Yeah. This case is 6-inch, so we're 6 3/8 right there. So there's 6 1/2. Okay, there's 6 1/2 inches. Like I said, this case is not, relationships are wrong. This crank is way back right now or something. I'm not sure what the deal is. But we know this bottom case is 6. That's 6 1/2 inches. So we already moved it up 3/8 of an inch higher than it was. What am I looking at down there? I'm supposed to be looking over here. So this here should be, we were looking at 6 1/8. We're at 6 1/2 right now. So that means we're going to cut a ton of material out of that cylinder, which I do not want to do at all. Right here. Which makes sense because these are on center, and Ultima they cut their cylinders way out. So I'm definitely going to move the cylinder over this way, at least 1/8 of an inch minimum, to get away from that problem. So I'm not going to keep it on center like they got it. That's going to be bad. I do not want to be like that. No way. That'd be a big cut. So I don't like cutting cylinders out like that if I don't have to. See, I have to cut that out like that much. Probably more than that. I bet you that cut's probably this deep. I'd have to go look at an Ultima cylinder, but I bet you that's a big cut they got in them things. Big eyebrow. And I definitely don't want to be doing that. Yeah, so if I offset it this way, I get away from that problem. I'd have to move all this hole out. All this hole would have to be moved. All this stuff would have to be moved out a lot. So if I offset that cylinder. Yeah, you'd have to go a 1/4 inch over to get what I want it to be at. Yeah. See, that screws up your top dead centers and all the stuff you start offsetting, but I gotta see where this stuff's gonna line up. You know, if the piston doesn't even get anywhere near the bottom of the cylinder, it doesn't matter if you cut it. But if the piston's actually going over the spot where you're cutting, then I gotta do it. So I don't know. Right now, you could put together on center, and it kind of would work, but I think we're going to come up a little bit on this. I think we're too darn cutting too much where I don't want to. And right now, I don't like this case at all anymore. So I'm disappointed. I do not like that. That sucked. All right, I'm going to put the other case on there. We'll be back.